There is a silent psychological weapon that the most powerful minds in history used to completely protect their energy. It is the absolute mastery of ignoring people. Most of us think that ignoring someone means giving them the silent treatment or holding on to deep anger. But there is a hidden mental switch that allows you to completely erase someone from your emotional reality without feeling a single drop of bitterness. I am going to reveal exactly how to flip that switch and become emotionally untouchable today. But first, you need to understand a massive flaw in how you currently process the opinions of others. Right now, you are handing the remote control of your mood to completely random people. A rude comment from a stranger or a passive-aggressive text from a coworker can completely ruin your entire day. You spend hours replaying fake arguments in your head and wondering why people treat you poorly. This creates a constant heavy weight of exhaustion because you are desperately trying to manage how the world perceives you. You are fighting an unwinnable war to control the thoughts of others. I know exactly how heavy that constant need for approval feels every single morning. If you are truly exhausted from fighting battles in your head over people who do not even matter, I need you to promise yourself that you will watch this until the very end. We are going to walk through 7 steps today. The specific mental switch I mentioned at the very beginning is actually the final step on this list. It is a radical psychological tool that permanently deletes the power others have over you, but you absolutely cannot skip to the end because it will only work if you let the previous rules build your foundation first. Let us start building that foundation right now. Number 1. Stop drinking the poison. When someone insults you or acts with extreme disrespect, they are essentially handing you a cup of poison. Most people immediately take the cup and drink it without even thinking. You absorb their anger, you feel deeply insulted, and you let their toxic mood completely infect your own mind. The ancient thinkers realized that an insult only becomes real if you actively choose to accept it. If someone tries to hand you a physical gift and you refuse to take it, the gift still entirely belongs to them. The exact same rule applies to human disrespect and verbal abuse. When a person projects their misery onto you, it is simply a reflection of their own broken internal state. It has absolutely nothing to do with your actual value. By choosing to completely ignore their poor behavior, you leave the emotional poison right in their hands. You do not react, you do not defend yourself, and you do not argue back. You simply look at them as if they are speaking a completely foreign language. This immediately neutralizes their power, because toxic people desperately need your reaction to feel important. When you deny them that reaction, they are forced to swallow their own bitter poison. You walk away with your peace of mind completely intact, while they are left choking on their own negativity. You must train your mind to recognize the poison before it touches your lips. Number 2. Drop the imaginary audience. You live your life as if there is a massive crowd of people watching and judging your every single move. You dress a certain way, you speak a certain carefully planned way, and you hide your true feelings because you are terrified of what this imaginary audience might think of you. You twist your own personality to fit into boxes built by people who do not even care about your happiness. But the deeply liberating truth is that everyone else is far too obsessed with their own lives to truly care about yours. The heavy pressure you feel on your chest is entirely self-created. To master the art of ignoring toxic people, you must first completely ignore the fake audience inside your own head. When you stop performing for others, you suddenly unlock a massive amount of hidden mental energy. You no longer need to explain yourself or justify your personal actions to people who have no real authority over your life. You stop apologizing for taking up space in the world. You finally realize that the only judgment that actually matters is the honest one you make about yourself at the end of the day. Dropping the audience allows you to stand completely firm in your own character. When someone tries to insult you, their words just bounce off because you no longer value their role as a judge in your life. Number 3. Build the invisible shield. We are constantly bombarded by the aggressive opinions, loud complaints, and heavy negative energy of the people around us. If you leave your mind completely open to the public, every single passing comment will strike you right in the heart. You need to build a massive psychological wall between your soul and the chaotic noise of the rest of the world. On your side of the wall is your private character, your daily choices, and your deep peace. On the outside of the wall is absolutely everything else. When someone tries to drag you into their petty workplace drama or heavily criticizes your life path, you must mentally visualize their comment hitting a thick stone wall and falling harmlessly to the ground. You simply cannot control what comes out of their mouth. People will always say cruel things because the world is full of broken individuals, but you have absolute control over whether you let those words cross into your mental fortress. Ignoring people is not a passive act of weakness or cowardice. It is the highly active defense of your own soul. You are acting as the strict security guard of your own mind. When you build this invisible shield, you can stand perfectly calm in the middle of a screaming room. You hear the noise, but you do not let the noise become part of who you are. Number 4, realize they are fighting themselves. When a person is exceptionally rude, aggressive, or deeply critical of you, your very first human instinct is to take it personally. You naturally think you did something wrong, or that you need to quickly fix the awkward situation. You feel a sharp sting of rejection, but the ancient minds understood human psychology on a profound level. They knew that happy and fulfilled people simply do not go around attacking others in the street. When someone treats you poorly, it is always a loud public confession of their own internal suffering. They are fighting a bitter and exhausting war inside their own head, and you just happen to be standing in the random crossfire. They are projecting their own deep insecurities, failures, and regrets directly onto you because they cannot face themselves in the mirror. Once you deeply realize this psychological fact, your hot anger instantly dissolves into quiet pity. You no longer feel the burning need to argue with them because you know you cannot win a logical debate with a person who is emotionally drowning. You ignore their harsh words because you recognize they are just the desperate screams of a very unhappy mind. You look at their insult, not as an attack, but as a symptom of their own mental illness. This totally shifts your perspective and makes it incredibly easy to just walk away without a single scratch on your ego. Number 5. Starve the fire of attention. Attention is the absolute most valuable currency in the modern world. People will do entirely irrational things just to get someone to look at them. When someone is trying to provoke you or disrespect you, they are essentially begging for your attention. They want you to get angry because your anger validates their entire existence. It proves to them that they have a real impact on your life. The ultimate punishment you can ever give an aggressive or toxic person is total and absolute silence. When you completely ignore them, you starve their emotional fire of the oxygen it desperately needs to survive. You do not give them the deep satisfaction of a heated response. You do not roll your eyes or show annoyance. You simply look right through them as if they are made of clear glass. This is incredibly difficult to do at first because your human ego desperately wants to fight back and win the argument. Your pride wants to deliver the perfect crushing insult. But the truest and most lasting victory is walking away without losing a single drop of your peace of mind. By ignoring them, you force them to sit alone with their own toxicity. They burn themselves out in pure isolation, while you continue your day completely unbothered. You win the game by refusing to play it. Number 6. Evict them from your mental property. Your mind is your most sacred and expensive property, yet you let complete strangers walk all over it every single day. If someone walked into your physical house and started throwing dirty trash all over your living room floor, you would immediately throw them out the front door. But when someone brings their toxic attitude into your daily life, you pull up a comfortable chair and let them stay inside your head for hours. You replay their insults while you are driving to work, while you are eating your dinner, and while you are staring at the ceiling trying to sleep. You are allowing them to live completely rent-free inside your brain. You must actively and aggressively evict these people from your mental property. When you catch yourself thinking about a person who wronged you, you must forcefully shut the thought down right in its tracks. You mentally tell yourself that your mental space is strictly reserved for things that actually bring you value, joy, and peace. Ignoring someone physically by walking away is only the very first step of the process. You must completely ignore them mentally as well. Every time their face pops into your mind, you immediately redirect your focus to your own goals. You lock the front door of your mind and you throw away the key. You stop paying the heavy emotional tax for someone else's bad behavior. Number 7. the ghost protocol. We have finally reached the ultimate mental switch. This is the radical psychological tool I promised you at the very beginning of this video. Most people try to ignore others by holding on to silent resentment. They look the other way when the person walks by, but deep inside they are boiling with hot rage and plotting revenge. That is not true freedom at all. That is just hidden slavery. The ancient masters used a concept that completely erased the offending person from their emotional reality. I call this the ghost protocol. When you flip this final switch, you do not hate the person who wronged you. You do not wish them harm or wait for karma to punish them. You do not even feel a single drop of anger towards them. You simply reduce them to absolute nothingness in your mind. You view them with the exact same emotional neutrality that you would view a grey rock or a wooden fence post on the side of the road. If a stray dog barks at you in the street, you do not spend the rest of the day plotting revenge against the dog. You completely understand it is just doing what its nature dictates, and you simply keep walking toward your destination. You must apply this exact same pure logic to toxic human beings. You accept that their human nature is deeply flawed, and you completely detach all your emotions from their existence. They become a literal ghost to you. They can speak loudly, but you do not hear their words. They can act aggressively, but you do not feel their impact. Apathy is the true opposite of love, not hate. Hate requires massive amounts of energy. Apathy requires absolutely nothing. By completely removing their emotional weight, you collapse the hallucination that they have any real power over your life. You erase them from your timeline. The fake emotional battles inside your head only exist because you give other people the silent permission to start them. Every single time you feel that heavy weight of someone else pulling you down, I want you to remember these 7 exact steps. You can refuse to drink their bitter poison. You can drop the fake imaginary audience. You can build your thick invisible shield. You can realize they are only fighting a war against themselves. You can starve them of your precious attention. You can evict them from your mental house. And finally, you can flip the switch and turn them into an emotional ghost. You are the absolute master of your own mental reality. The timeline inside your head has absolutely no power over you unless you actively give it your precious attention. It is time to drop the imaginary battles, lock the strong gates of your mind, and step back into your own true power. If these ancient practices brought you peace today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so we can continue building a mind that no external storm can ever destroy.